Well, good Monday morning, sons, and Martha, and John, and my sister Becky, and anybody else who might be catching this video today or tomorrow or down the calendar line sometime. We're to number 82 in our year-long video series through year 2022 on one topic alone, the gospel. The gospel is the most important truth that a person needs applied to their life. It trumps every other truth. This truth should drive your life because it takes us to a safe eternity. This morning, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a little bit of a flashback video to our Hebrews is Better series that we did last year. Did over 100 videos on the book of Hebrews through last year. And I want to go back to number 7, and it's talking about eternity. But I want to begin with this I should start here and say this is our theme through the remainder of year 2022, is that the good news is that Jesus came down so you can go up. Jesus came down out of heaven so you could go up to heaven. But I want to begin with this verse right here. Philippians 3, chapter 3, verse 8, the first part of 8, so we call it 3:8a. Yea, doubtless, and I count, this is the Apostle Paul saying, yea, doubtless, or without a doubt, I count all things but loss, except for the excellency of the knowledge of Christ. Paul says, take away everything but my knowledge of Christ and I'll be okay. Or if I have the whole world without the knowledge of Christ, I have nothing. It tells us in Peter, the book of 2 Peter, that peace and grace is multiplied by our knowledge of God. The more we learn about knowledge, the more peace and grace we get in our God. Did I say that right? Let me say it again. The more knowledge we have about God gives us more peace and grace in our life. So let's go here this morning. Hope I can do this thing. Okay, I want to show you this video.
I did. It was 20 years ago, but I can't think of a better way to explain it. I actually didn't use a rope back then. I used remember computer paper when it was all stuck together and it had the holes on the side that you had to peel off. Remember that? I remember getting a roll, and some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, which is crazy to me. But because that was the best, and it never worked right because of the rolling things. But I remember being a youth pastor, and I put that computer paper all the way around the room, and but I'm going to use a rope now because I can't find that computer paper. Imagine this rope. Okay, pretend this rope just goes on forever. Okay, just imagination. Pretend it goes around the world a few times. It doesn't. It ends at the rock. But let's just imagine this thing goes on forever. Now imagine that this rope is a timeline of your existence. You just exist forever. You see this red part? This would represent your time on earth. You've got a few short years here on earth, and then you've got all of eternity somewhere else. This is your existence. And what blows me away is some of you, all you think about is this red part. It's all you think about. You're consumed with this. You go, oh man, I can't wait till here. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save so I can really enjoy this part right here. And you're consumed with that. You're thinking, oh man, am I going to get to travel? Am I going to eat well? Am I going to do this during this part? And I'm like, are you kidding me? What about this? What about this? What about that? What about all this stuff? It's crazy to me because the Bible teaches that what I do during this little red part determines how I'm going to exist for millions and millions and millions of years forever. And so why would I spend this little red part trying to make myself as comfortable as possible, enjoying myself as much as I can? Paul says, look, I'm going to live my life for this mission. I'm going to spend my life, invest my life for this moment when I cross that finish line. See, I'm going to forget about all this stuff I could enjoy, and I'm not going to look around. I'm going to be like a runner, just looking at that moment when I face God, because when I face Him, then I don't get this chance over again. We get one chance at this life on earth, and it can end at any second for any of us. We've got one chance at this, and then comes eternity. And I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to spend my life down here. See, people look at some of my decisions and go, oh, you're so stupid because that's going to really affect this. I go, no, you're stupid because it's going to affect all of this. Man, I'm serious. I look at the way people live and I go, wow, that is so crazy. You are so crazy. You're gonna do that right now, just to enjoy right now, not even knowing if you have tomorrow, and you think that's smart and that I'm dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Paul goes, I'm not going to look around at all this stuff. And it's tempting. It's tempting to all of us. That's what I'm saying. Down here, it's crazy because everyone lives that way. Everyone lives for the red part. No one's thinking about the millions of years afterwards. It's just this crazy deception that we can't get out of our minds. And Paul goes, I'm not doing that. He goes, I keep my eyes on that. I keep my eyes on that finish line. And I'm going to forget what's behind me. I'm not looking around. I'm straining. Because I'm straining forward. I'm like stretching forward for that mark. I'm going to pass this thing. I'm going to live this out. And I'm going to face Him. I'm going to come before the judges and He's going to hand me that trophy. He goes, I'm going to get it. And I haven't gotten there yet. He goes, but you better believe I'm using every muscle, exerting every bit about me because I'm going to pass that line well.
Okay. You know, I find that all the time talking with people, asking them about do they have that assurance of heaven, and nobody wants to talk about eternity because they think that's a private issue, that they really don't know about eternity. They're just going to hope it's okay. We don't do that with that little part of that rope here. We plan and plan and plan for tomorrow and for next week and for years to come on earth, but we do no planning for eternity. And Paul says here, yea, doubtless, I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Christ. Why? Because it affects that long rope the white part of that rope that never ends. Eternity never ends. And so many people consumed about that inch of that rope that's marked in red that signifies our life, instead of the hundreds and thousands of feet beyond that red part of the rope is where we're going to spend eternity. I can only explain it by it tells us in Second Corinthians that if our gospel be hid, it's hid to those that are lost. Their eyes are blinded. The Bible says, whom the God of this world has blinded the eyes of those who believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel would shine unto them. The glorious gospel cannot shine unto people because their eyes are blinded by the devil, by Satan. And that's why you want to desire the truth. That truth will open your eyes. Who's ever watching this video that is still living for that red part of the rope and have no understanding of the white part of eternity? Oh, pray that God will open your eyes and ears and minds and hearts to believe the glorious gospel, which is this, that Jesus Christ came down out of heaven to be born of a virgin, to live a sinless life, be falsely accused and arrested, beaten, falsely arrested, falsely convicted, sentenced to die on a cross. He shed his blood. He died. They buried him. If that's the end of the story, we have no hope. But 3 days later, he came up out of that grave. That's called the resurrection. 3 days later. Can you believe the resurrection today? Can you believe Jesus Christ died for you and he rose from that grave? Oh, then you'll have a safe eternity. Love you guys.